Good morning, everybody. Mike here, and I'm working on this small spot I cleared here out in front of the shop, which is going to be my sea container and my larger parking lot here. As you guys can see, I grubbed it all out, and I'm working on it this morning. And I got this rake hooked up this morning, and I've got it offset, and I'm going to kick all the rocks, the stones, and as much brush as I can toward the wood lot here. So that's what I'm working on now. It's not really as dry as I'd like it, but you know what? I can only sit idle for so long, and I got to move and shake a little bit. I'm not going to wait for this to dry right out. I'm just going to get at her. So what I'll do is I'll fire this up, and I'll do a little bit of windrowing and work in the surface. I just want to get rid of the rocks, the brush, the sticks, and windrow them, offset that, and push them to the bush. So as you guys can see, it's coming along nicely. I got rid of quite a few rocks there and pushed those rocks around, pushed them to the far side, pushed them to the edge a little bit. Now I'm going to do a little bit of loader work, push some of the brush into the swampy areas and stuff like that. I'll hit this again once it's opened up now, and once the air and sun gets to it, and we're not going to get any sun for like 4 days. They're forecasting 4 days through this Victoria Day long weekend coming up, and there's going to be a lot of people up in this part of the country too, vacationers coming up to open up their cottages and stuff. And so there's going to be maybe a lot of disappointed people because it's supposed to rain for 4 days straight, and that's too bad really, but that's just the way it is. This landscape rake is kind of annoying. When you go to take it off your 3-point hitch and set it down, it's so front end heavy, you got to have something under the front, whether it be a block of wood or whatever. So as you can tell, I put this, I had 2 of these jacks, so I put the jack in the front. And unfortunately, it's one of those fixed jacks. I could put it on an adjustable sliding plate. If I find that the bottom heel sinks into the ground too much or touches the ground, which it should be pretty good where it is. But anyway, I had 2 of those, so now I just take it off the 3-point hitch and I jack it in position, and I don't have to worry about this falling down on me. This is a hard implement to handle on the 3-point hitch. It's just very unbalanced. It never sits. All right, good morning, everybody. I'm at home right now, and I'm just working on this sea container area. I'm getting this area kind of prepped for the sea cans a little bit at a time in between running the roads here. So what I'm working on now, I got that U25 up top on the hill right there, and I just cut a swale in here. I cut a swale right here, right through the top of the swamp, because we need to get rid of that water that's laying right there. That water laying right there is coming out of a swamp in the bush as a natural drain, and there was kind of a natural drain before, but I covered it all in when I reworked this land a little bit. So what I'm doing right now is I cut a bit of a swale through here, and I'm just going to throw what gravel I got in there for now, and I'm going to allow that swamp and keep the water away from this area up here. And I'm going to let that swamp come down through here and just naturally perk down through this drain. And it's going to come right into this culvert right here. And that's only a small culvert there. You're talking 10-inch culvert possibly right there. 8 to 10-inch culvert. And I'm going to change that. I'm going to probably put an 18-inch culvert in there. Not that it really needs it, but you know what? Just in case, I'm going to get some sediment in there. And just for the future. I mean, if I can get my hands on one used, which I think I can up here, then no problem. So that's what I'm working on this morning. I dumped 1 load of clear gravel. I'm just using what gravel I got here. I wish I had some heavy coarse, maybe even gabion, and go deep on this and lay that down and then put clear in between it, but you know what, I don't. So I'm just using what I got, and I'm going to build this little drain to come down through that swamp right there, and we'll go from there. There we have some water coming down there. I had to get my black fly jacket on. It was just exceptionally buggy out here. So I'm hoping this clear gravel here is what it's going to do. It's going to keep a lot of sediment down from washing into the culvert over there on the downhill grade, and eventually it'll pack in with fines in between a little bit, not too bad. It should settle in, and once we get some real water trickling through here, and eventually it'll find its own place, and it'll always drain that swamp. Alright, so you can hear it. Made her right down. And you can see she's running right into that culvert right there. That grass is now moving. It's going to go all the way down to the creek at the bottom of the road, and it's going to be gone. I'll do some more work here, but not only just giving the water a place to go and not flooding my yard. I don't want a mosquito sanctuary in the bush if I can help it by trying to keep that water in that swamp. So I'm going to keep working on this. I'll fine tune this. I'll probably bring more gravel along the edges, swale it up a little bit higher, make it neater, and the grass is going to run right into the grass will run right into and along the edge of this, and it'll work. It'll come out nice. It's much better than what was here, I can tell you that. All right, good morning everybody. I got phase one of this sea container parking / lawn area done, and I got the first part done. This is pretty much done for now. Right there, I got the swale cut in, and I got the rocks picked out of here, and I seeded it down. So this part of it's done. Half this area is going to be lawn, which I just seeded, like I said, cleaned it all up. This area is going to be lawn, and what I'm working on now over here is the actual sea can and parking area over here. So this is kind of phase two right here. So what I'm working on over here on this secondary job now is I'm just stripping the organics off the top here, and I'm going to get this prepped for the parking area. All this whole area right here, as you can see, I've got it cut right down here, and along the drive I'm going to take all the soil out of here, and it's going back in that swamp right there. I'm building a roadway right through that swamp, and all that fill's going back in that swamp. And I left about, if you look, I left about probably 36 to 40 inches along this swale right here. And I'm just going to use that for plants, and just dress it up a little bit with plants and rocks in there, just to have a separate border between the parking area and the lawn. I want this swale dressed up along here when I'm done, but that's going to be in the end. For now, we're just going to get rid of all these organics, get rid of this rocky topsoil, and that's what I'm working on now. You can see how much I got cleaned out of here. I got quite a bit taken out of here last night, and actually I'm using that U25 with a 30-inch bucket. I could bring the big boy out here, the 80. It's in the shop right here, but I don't have a smooth bucket for it, and I'm in no hurry, and I like running that little U25 too. So I'm just stripping off a bit of this, and I'm running it back in the swamp, as you guys can see. And so all I do with these two smaller pieces of equipment, I just strip off the organics on top, pile it up, and then I take the track loader and I track it all in. And there's no easy way to do this when you're using small equipment. You just strip it off and take it in, and you just get her done. You just work at it till you get it done. There's no easy way to do it. All right, early afternoon. I think it's early afternoon. Have a look around. Here's how much I got done so far here today. Right there, she's cut in right along there. You can see how the depth we went to on that far side, and we got lots of material here. All right, everybody, another little update on this project. It's in the morning. Got a lot of trees and brush laying down there. So, and that all came out of here. I'll have a little look. I got this all opened up down here, as you can see, straight down the building and in here. It just gives me clearance to move the snow in the winter time, and who knows, maybe park something in here. Maybe I'll gravel it off a little bit and then park stuff along the building in the summertime. But anyway, that's what I was trying to accomplish. I just wanted a nice sweeping straight line along this building down here and get this opened up. And I've been using the fill around the back of the building, and I'm changing the grade in the front of the building. It's starting to rain, and they're calling for a lot of rain. So here's where I've gotten so far. A lot more room. It's going to be a lot more room when we get gravel in here. Took that down probably 20 inches over there on that side. 20 inches, I figure. Still more work to do, but you know what? It's coming along good. All right, good day, everybody. Mike here from Northeastern Dirt Property Maintenance. It's been a flurry of activity around here in the last week on this homestead right here. Clearing this spot for my parking area, and I'm doing a whole bunch of different stuff right now here on the homestead here. So I'll just give you guys a little update. MJ's going to make a full video from start to finish, but I'll give you an update on what's going on here. So I pretty much got this parking area right here done. I cleared it all out, and I pretty much got it where I want it right now. As you can see, I took the grade down on this about 20 inches If you look up here by the skid steer forks and behind the dump truck and the trailer, have a look at that. Right there. You can see that grade has been knocked down here. I took that hump in front of the shop right out of here. I just hustled and keep peeling away at it time and time again, and I worked at her, and I got this whole area knocked down to try and get that water away from running toward that shop, which helped a whole lot because we've already had a bunch of rain. So you can tell I've probably taken at least 20 inches, maybe upwards of almost 2 feet of grade gone for this hump. I got rid of that. I knocked this grade all down, and then what I did, I put down 3-inch railroad gravel right there. Right there, I put a good railroad gravel base underneath this 3-inch, and then I hit it with a gravel crusher run. So I put the 3-inch down as a base once I knocked this grade down to where I wanted it, and I hit her with a plate tamper, and then I put granular A down, crusher run, call it what you want, and I hit it too. And then it rained. We got a lot of rain here, and it rained good on this loose crusher run. I hit it once when it was dry. It was really dusty, of course, and that's not nice to do. And it doesn't pack your granular in either. If it's dry and you're hitting it with a plate tamper, you're just blowing dust everywhere. So then it rained that night, which was sweet, and I come out the next morning and I just pounded her 2 or 3 times with a plate tamper, and that's what I ended up with right there. And it actually come out pretty good. And that huge grade that was sweeping right into the front garage door, that's all gone now. I got rid of that. So I got a nice firm parking area. It's really windy too today for the truck here. And you can see I cleared out all my attachments, all that stuff. That's what I'm doing today. That's all done. I did that the other day. Today we're doing something else, and I'll show you. So all the attachments, you guys, went down the alley here, and it's not done yet. So I cleared this all out beside the shop. I laid down a bed of crusher run here, a little bit of 3-inch what I had left. Then I laid crusher run right down the alleyway, and I took all those attachments here and I laid them down there. As you guys can tell, it's still disorganized, but I got the stuff back here for now because I'll show you what I'm up to today. So anyway, here's where all the attachments went. It cleared a hell of a lot of space out for me behind the shop, right into the bush. And here we go. Right back in here. I just did an attachment lay down, and I'll probably end up graveling this whole area. So that's where we are. And it's been windy. All right, so here's where we are today, you guys. Have a look at that. I got that Kubota 80 hooked on that sea can. I'm moving sea cans. Kind of exciting, actually, and I'll tell you why. And very shocking and surprising. All right, so that wind might be screwing with the camera a little bit, you guys, but there's not much I can do right now. So I'm actually really shocked, and I'm really surprised at how much power this KX080 has, because those are 10,000 pound cans, and there's probably 2,000 pounds of shit inside. I close the door, it's a rattle can now. Who knows what's going to happen inside, but it's stuff I really don't care about. So I hooked this on with those 3/8 chains right there, grade 70 load binding chains, one on each side with grab hooks. I hooked them on there, and I just went down to the bottom of those cans right there, one to each corner of those lifting lugs of those cans. And I can tell you, this Kubota, and I'll show you, 80 Kubota, it will move those cans at a friggin' idle. And I was shocked. I thought I was going to be struggling trying to move a 10,000 pound can, and I actually had an alternate plan. I was going to get a guy in here with a truck with a tilt deck on trailer, and he was going to move these cans for me. But then I thought, I'm going to try it myself with the 80 first. And you know what? Unbeknownst to me, this 80, this thing eats sea cans. It just absolutely annihilates them. I couldn't believe it. And we'll have a little look. Watch. This thing has got nuts like an elephant. been revving up this motor. That's a third throttle on that thing with no lift on the boom. That's just solely pulling with these final drives. Now if you put the hydraulics to it and get serious, this machine throws these cans around. I have to say I'm surprised. All right, now that I got the sea cans in place, I'm now moving any material that's salvageable from up by where the sea cans used to be right here. And all this pipe work I bought this whole skid of pipe. I think I mentioned it before in another video. This was a brand new skid of pipe with steel banding still on it. I bought it at the farm auction in Southern Ontario for $100. I couldn't pass it up. I've used a few pieces here and there. I made a steel rack in the garage out of it, just various things. But I also took a mother load of steel in the other day with the 6-yard bin to the scrapper in North Bay. And just scrap steel and stuff I threw out around here. I took exactly 3,000 pounds of steel in. And that gave me $301 basically. $301 and change I got for 3,000 pounds of steel I took in. So that's what you get. $300. And this stuff I have to get rid of, and I'm going to stack it between the cans. You know what? I need hearing protection. This is the last load. This is the last load of tubing to go in here, so, and it's hard on your ears. And it's not a bad job anyway, with those pallet forks and that Kubota 2501. And I had these tubes up on 8x8 cedar on top, so I could just come in with the pallet forks and lift them all. I didn't have to load them by hand. I could just come in and lift them off the cribbing and pick them up. Worked beautifully. I'm not in the market yet to scrap this tubing. I'll keep it around. I'll pick at it here and there. And maybe I'll sell some. But if I got to handle it too often, she goes right in the scrap truck. You wouldn't want to have to buy this piping nowadays. Kind of a handy little storage area. And we got more steel products to come. I think I bought 110 T-bars down south before I came up here, luckily, off a grape farmer. I saw them on the internet, and I know they're at least $10 a piece now for a good solid T-bar, 8 feet long. You're looking at least 10 bucks, probably 12 bucks. And I bought over 100 of them, 100 and change, 105 for $110 for the whole lot of them. So they're going to be coming in next. I've used them all over. Nice little storage area. And away we go. You guys will notice I'm running ballast on the back of that tractor today. Doesn't necessarily have to be a ballast box for a 3-point. It could be any implement. Today I'm running that land plane on the tractor. I got them pallet forks in the front, and you don't dare run around with pallet forks lifting weight, 4-wheel drive or not, and not have ballast on the back. It's fine on flat ground maybe if you're moving slow and you're really cautious, but you know what, if you're moving and shaking and you're loading product, always put some ballast in the back of your 3-point there. And keep that load under control. Just a little point, just a little tidbit. To mention a couple more things while I'm out here doing some tractor work with those pallet forks. This is my experience. There's a few things that I do that other guys might not do when they're doing tractor work like this, but it's just how I do it. Doesn't mean it's right, doesn't mean it's wrong. Everybody picks their own way of doing things. When I've got ballast on the back and the ground conditions are fair, I don't put it in four-wheel drive. Simply because why run your tractor in four-wheel drive under needless circumstances? Why rotate those front axles, all those bearings, and all them hypoid style gears in the front end down there? Why turn all your mechanism when you don't need four-wheel drive? As long as you've got that ballast weight on the back and ground conditions are good, like firm traction, hard ground, I stay in two-wheel drive. You got the ballast on the back, you're putting your rear pressure on them rear tires. Even when I got a little bit of weight on the front, like these stakes right there, I keep it in two-wheel drive. And until the ground conditions get soft, do I shift it in four-wheel drive. To me, it's just extra wear on your front axle for no reason. And another thing that I do is when you're traveling with a load on those pallet forks, whether it be pallet forks, whether it be a bucket, it doesn't matter. Keep your load as close to the ground as you can. Don't run with loads up in the air at an elevated position, man, because you could possibly tip that tractor over. And the higher you go, the more unstable your weight becomes for that center of gravity up in the air, and it just becomes unstable. So when you're running loads, heavy loads, moderate loads, get in the habit of keeping your loads down a fair bit. And actually, the lower the better. That's just kind of a good rule to go by. The lower the better. So now I got to get in there and unload these T-bars. Oh, and one other thing I'll show you guys while I'm here talking about the tractor. I had mentioned before that I was going to put a different plug on the tractor for the snowblower. Well, I did. There's the plug I ended up putting on for the snowblower. I put a bracket on the back. I drilled and tapped into the ROPS. And I put a couple machine screws in there. I think 1032, whatever they are, holding this on. And I drilled and tapped. So now I got a nice sturdy. And I got rid of the first cheesy toolbox and I put a semi-cheesy toolbox on, which is much better actually. It's just from the military surplus. I bought a plastic one and I just drilled and tapped through the kubota factory support between the fenders, and that one's pretty good. So I put the plastic toolbox on there, and it's also bigger and it snaps closed properly, and I put the plug on there. And now all I got to do is just rewire the snowblower, and I'm all set to go. So that's where we are today in this cleanup anyway. I'm going to burn a bunch of the wood that's up there, and that's where we are with the cleanup. It's coming nicely. I got the used oil jug, finally found its home right there. I got the Enerpack hydraulic press that's eventually going to go in the shop. And I'll show you what else I got. Now that we're talking about this this cleanup, I graded back in here a little bit yesterday, smoothed this out a little bit, and I took some fill out of here, and I started filling in this side along the shop yesterday. Just a whole bunch of little jobs I've been doing. I pulled fill out of there last night. I'm starting to fill up this side of the building, and I'm going to fill this all in and grade this out nicely away from the building. And the whole back is graded. I put a whole bunch of attachments back there, as you've seen earlier. And I cleaned the sea cans out a little bit too. And they got to be leveled up a little bit yet, but that's not my concern. I just wanted to get them in place and get some cleanliness going on and a little bit of organization. So now when you come in your can, look what you got. Now you got a little bit of cleanliness in these cans. I took a whole bunch of garbage out of here on that 6-yard bin. It's got garbage on it on the truck. Broken glass in here. We got rid of a bunch of scrap steel that was in here. Just shit I shouldn't even have brought, but I should have scrapped it. But anyway, and just took and stacked everything up at the back. Piled everything as neat as I could for now. And that's it. Kind of got this place a little bit neater and tidier. These are great backyard sheds, man. These sea containers are the cat's ass. And like I've said before in my videos, your neighbors might not like them, but you know what? I like them. If they're out of sight and they're out of mind, you know what? I don't think there shouldn't be any reason why, unless you're in the city or somewhere that you can't have a sea can. Hey, if you got to pay taxes on it, you got to pay taxes on it, man. You pay by the square foot, whatever. But they're a good instant shed. You can paint them, you can splice onto a side. In fact, in my mind right now, I was looking, having coffee this morning, and the south side of this second can over here, while we're chit-chatting about storage and can, right on this side, and I told Mary Jane, I got the windows, I got the doors, and I got the wood. Why not build a greenhouse right here? And splice a header on top of that, and just run your roof rafters down and wall it up here. I got 5 new windows up there, storm windows with the screens in them, and I kept them solely for a greenhouse. I trucked them all the way up here. Always had a homemade greenhouse in my mind, and I figured put the windows right across here with clear Lexan roof, you know, Lexan UV stabilized plastic roof, and have your greenhouse on this side, and it's only going to be maybe 12 or 14 feet long and 6 or 8 feet wide, and have a door right here at the front. Why not use all that southern exposure, because that sun's here now and it's going to come around and it gets brutally hot, so you got to have a way to vent that greenhouse. But anyway, that's just one of my ideas, and it's a pretty serious idea too. That may come in one of my next projects. And you can see there, that drain is working good. It's dried right out. That swamp is dried right out now. And this is coming. Everything's coming along here. I got the first parking pad down where the truck is, as I've said before. So all these little small cleanup jobs all add up in the end to being a little bit more tidy, a little bit more organized, and a little bit more efficient and functional, really. To me, that's what it's all about. And so that's what we're working on today, just getting this stuff between the cans done, as I said, and we'll carry on. All right, so there's the finished product there. She's as hot as a fox in a forest fire out here, I tell you that. Now at least the stuff's off the ground. A little bit of a steel rack, you can kind of get at it, pull it out when you need it. It's up on gravel too, which is not laying down in the mud, that's not in my way. So I think that's a good steel storage area, you know, and we'll just keep it like that. And I got other product that I got to bring over here now, and we'll keep going. Good morning, everybody. Well, the cleanup out here is winding down. I'm right down to the burning of the scrap wood that's left, and pretty much that's it. It's going to be a hot one today. I've been out here since 6 a.m. this morning, and it must be 9 o'clock now. But I've been burning for 2 to 3 hours here, and this is pretty much the end of it, and the cleanup's coming nicely. So that's about all that's left. I ran the track loader and the zero turn with the deck raised up over here and knocked down some of these weeds, hand picked out some of the rocks here, and I'm going to go over top of this area with a spike harrow. I'm going to go over top of this whole area with the spike harrow here, and it's going to pick up any rocks and turn them up and pull them to the surface, whatever's sticking down below. Whatever's sticking down below, that spike harrow is good for pulling it up, and then I'll go through and I'll hand pick the rocks out, and I'll reseed it, and then I'll just hit it with the harrows again, and she's going to be ready to go. But what a blessing to get rid of those sea containers. I love sea containers for storage, but I don't want sea containers staring at me out the front picture window of the house. It's been probably now 4 or 5 days of cleaning here. So what I'll show you guys next will be I'll just spike harrow this with a tractor, and then the spike harrows are actually right over here laying on the ground, the spike harrows. And the sun is just right. Hopefully you can see it if you have a look. You can see all the grass, all the green texture on top of the surface over here. That's all the seed I put down probably 2.5 weeks ago right here. It's all coming up. and it's filling in nicely. So I got this whole area basically opened up now, just the way I want it. And I got lots of detail work to do yet, but I got the majority of the junk gone. All the scrap's gone, the wood's been burned here. Just a general cleanup is almost coming to a close here. And then I can move on to some detail work. So next phase will be spike harrows and some rock picking with a tractor. All right, did a little bit of rock popping with that U25. Now we'll get rid of them with this bucket. All right, I just switched attachments from the pallet forks over there to the bucket, and I forgot to couple this bucket, and I just went to dump them rocks and off through the bucket and everything else. Should have got that on tape. So all I do with that set of chain harrows, I just go round and around and it pulls all the rock to the surface. Anything that was remotely sticking out of the surface, and that's with no weight on it, and it's upside down. I don't even have the heavy tines in the ground. Anything that was remotely close to the surface, it'll pop it up again. Then I'll go round and around. I got to clean up those ashes, and later on I'll work over top of that because they're full of fasteners and screws and metal. But anyway, spike harrow, as you can see right there, it just pulls stuff right up to the surface, all the rocks, and then you just rock pick later on by hand. The big rocks, put them in the bucket, and the small rocks, you can actually windrow them to that side with the landscape rake. So with a combination of the spike harrows and the landscape rake and the bucket in the machine and hand picking, you can clean all your rocks out, and you end up basically, when it's done, something like this. Yes, it's labor intensive, but in the end it'll give you a much smoother lot, and you're not pinging stones with the blades of your zero turn. All right, we'll carry on with this. So now there's a good shot over there where that fire is burning right now this morning, and you're not seeing sea cans and a junk pile anymore. All you see now is just good open lawn, and we'll get that burned down, and we'll go from there. All right, thanks you guys. I'll talk to you later in the next one. All right, good morning everybody. I'm out here this morning. It's probably 18 degrees, beautiful morning this morning in Northeast Ontario. And I've progressed on to picking up my load of gravel last night. No, I actually didn't pick it up. I had a load of gravel delivered, but I got it here. And that's one triaxle full of gravel, gravel up here. And you're looking at $400 a load for a triaxle load of gravel up here. You're looking for $400. And if you want really good gravel, the real good gravel crusher run put for the processor up in North Bay, you're looking at $550 delivered for one triaxle full. So gravel is not cheap here. So you got to use it sparingly, but when you have to have it, you have to have it. So here's where I am this morning. I'm just putting a gravel base down for these around these sea cans going in and out. I got the sea cans in place with the Kubota KX080 there, so that was nice. So now I just want a gravel pad out here and around the building, and make a bit of a ramp going into the sea cans, and just clean it up a little bit out front of these sea cans. So Alright, as you guys can see, I use this bucket lip on dozens of occasions for hooking up timbers underneath there, steel, anything that'll hook underneath that bucket lip. I've used it on several occasions. And save your back and just use that bucket. So it actually works pretty good the way that bucket is formed for just grabbing a timber and slinging it around. Never gives you a good feeling, no matter how good your chains are, no matter the load rating, doesn't matter. It never gives you a good feeling when you're lifting something like that and you get your head around them chains. I've never felt comfortable doing that, even though the chains are good and we're not lifting nearly the 10,000 pounds, but still, keeping your head around them chains, it's never made me feel comfy. Alright, so we got those timbers under there for now. And I just want to get some gravel in and around here, around the front, so the doors open properly. The way that those cans were before, the doors wouldn't open properly on them. So we'll just go from there, and I'll carry on. And then I'll probably end up going to the back and supporting the back end. I'm going to have to level these cans up with some wood and some shims and possibly some deck blocks here, and that'll come once I get all this done here. Right now I just want to get the doors working, and I need a place to get my equipment in and out for now. Pinch point. Let's see if we can't do something here. Oh, maybe not there. Maybe not. Down, little craftsman, in a time of need. Well, that took care of that. That's okay. All right, we got that broke off. I mean, cut and broke off. That was okay. We'll go to the other side. All right, got the timbers cut with a craftsman. gonna layer it, hit it with a tamper, and layer it and hit it. I'm all done plate tamping here, and I think I probably used about 14 ton of gravel, and I put 5 or 6 extra spare over in my spare gravel pile, so have a look. There's what we got. Now we got a much more neater approach to the sea cans, and I hit her several times with a plate tamper. You come around here, I use some surplus gravel on this side and some low spots. So all in all, it turned out pretty good with the gravel, and for now in this area I think we're done, and I got the ramp up to the sea cans I need for the zero turn and the ATV, and just a much neater approach angle now with the ramp. As you can see when you're looking at it now, you got a nice approach angle coming into the sea cans, pretty gradual, and then you can go up in the can with a track loader or with the zero turn. All right, I'm gonna call that a wrap on the sea can move. I got the gravel down, laid down, driveway touched up, and we got all the gravel in place, we got all the tamping done, and this area is done, and I got the zero turn put in the sea can, taken from the shop, because I don't need that zero turn or the motorcycle in the shop. I don't need that stuff in the way. I just want the shop in there for big stuff to work on, and that's why I clean these cans out. They're moved, and everything is just coming nicely here. Okay, so that's a wrap for the sea can move for now, unless I change my mind somehow and move them somewhere else. But for now, we're all caught up there, and thanks for tuning in on the sea can video. And there'll be a little bit more in the parking area over there just yet. There'll be a little bit more video over there, but for the most part, we've done all the sea can moves and the first part of the parking area. Okay, I'll talk to you again. Thanks.